Welcome to the Life After Sugar podcast, the podcast that's not just about sugar, but about your relationship with it and also with food and especially with yourself. So if you want to discover your life after sugar and hear inspiring stories from all kinds of people who also cut out sugar in their way, at their pace, for their own reasons, this is the podcast for you. Because when you take away the sugar, you can finally discover the real sweetness in your life. I'm your host, Netta Gorman, and today I'm joined by Evon Dennis, founder of The Confidence Connect. And Evon shares how ultra-processed food slowly became her comfort and her coping tool, and how she discovered the science behind cravings and what it took to reclaim her peace of mind after years of struggle, relapse, and recovery. We'll get to my chat with Evon in just a minute. But first, I just wanted to tell you that if you're looking for some free resources, then I have plenty for you. First, download my 5 tips to get rid of cravings. And those 5 tips may not be what you think they are. So go to aftersugarclub.com and download your 5 tips today. And while you're at aftersugarclub.com, why not take the cravings quiz? I created this cravings quiz specifically to help you start thinking more deeply about what triggers your cravings. And when you do this quiz, you'll get your personalized score as well as my practical tips to help you take your first step to get rid of cravings. Those free resources are at aftersugarclub.com. And also, come check out the Life After Sugar Facebook page and subscribe to the Life After Sugar YouTube channel, as well as my Instagram account at MyLifeAfterSugar, which is where you'll get all kinds of inspiration so that you can see that it's perfectly possible to live a happy and active life, even if you don't eat sugar. So let's get to my chat with Evon. And today I'm talking with Evon. And Evon, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, how you grew up, where you grew up, and what you used to eat when you were a child?
Hi, Netta. Thank you so much for having me on here today. Well, I am Evon of The Confidence Connect, and I'm going to take you all present to when I was a little girl. So presently, I am retired from a hard struggle life as of 2023 and slow traveling the world as of 2023. Visionary thought leader, business strategist, award-winning international radical transformation and confidence celebrity coach, author, recording artist, quadruple certified financial educator, and so much more.
Yeah.
As a little girl, I was eating like most children in the way that their parents had them eating. And so what that looked like was actually a lot healthier, I now realize, than a lot of other people. My parents were raising a family with 5 children. So it was a total of 7 of us. And I'm super grateful for what they did with their information. And, we ate meat, we ate fruits, we ate vegetables. My parents were very, very serious about making sure that we got our vegetables in and we got our fruit in. Okay. So, for the most part, I would say that I remember growing up, people regularly remarked on how small framed my siblings and I were. If anybody remembers the Red Wagons, that brand continues to flourish through now, today, 2025. But back in the day, and I'm 49, okay, soon to be 50 in May of next year, it was, I don't know, a steel or tin wagon, and all five of us would be able to sit in that wagon.
Huh.
And our parents would take us and put us in that wagon when we would go to fairs and carnivals and things like that. That's how they would transport all five of us at one time. So
Okay.
that just can give you an idea of how small framed we all were as we were growing up because
Mm-hmm.
of the way that our parents fed us. We did eat fast food from time to time, more heavily processed food from time to time. My family history is one whereas we started out very, very poor. And then my parents became millionaires by
Huh.
the time that I was in middle school. And so living like that, what I remember is that the days that we ate more heavily processed food went up
Huh.
with the amount of money.
With
Yeah, for
increased
sure.
income. Huh.
Well, yeah, because it went from my parents not having to watch their dollars quite as close. So I remember, and I'm a preacher's daughter, by the way. So
Mm-hmm.
I remember that, on Sundays, I would look forward to the fact that for sure that's the day that we were going to eat out.
Huh.
That's the day that was going to have processed food in it in general, snacks, when church was over, because I was raised Pentecostal.
Mm-hmm.
So that looked like a whole lot of church.
Gotcha.
Every day, Monday through Sunday, a whole lot of church. So on Sundays, that looked like get up early in the morning. And like I said, as my parents became um, way more influx or with as far as money was concerned, that looked like donuts on the way to church in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then that looked like going out to eat versus when I was younger. Oh my gosh, I'll never forget this because it was actually some of the most peaceful days. My parents would pack our lunches for church, right? And they would take us to a beautiful park that I still go to this very day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we would sit there and we would eat our lunch and then we would go. But as the money increased, then eventually Sundays looked like donuts or something like that in the morning to go with our breakfast, on the ride to church, and then going out to eat, right? And then when church was over, going to get some kind of snack,
Gotcha.
ice cream, chips, something like that. Okay. But during the week, it was mainly still packing the food. We were sent to school with our lunches. It was a special time only during the holidays and that was as the money increased.
Got.
That was the only time that I remember we would eat the school lunch.
Yeah.
And it's funny, Netta, because I know you understand that when you're growing up and you're looking around at what everybody else does,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you feel like you want, a lot of times you feel like you want to do what everybody else is doing. And so those times stood out to me. Oh, get to eat lunch
Yeah.
in the cafeteria like everybody else. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
And so, right?
Yeah.
And so, but my parents, they did a heck of a job.
Yeah.
And obviously, we know there is no such thing as perfection when it comes to our family units. But with that being said, they did a heck of a job. When I graduated from high school, okay, and
Mm-hmm.
now it was me. I moved out 2 days after I graduated from high school,
Whoa.
and then it was like not even the sky is the limit. I eat whatever I want. And of course, I've had to do a lot of thinking about this, go back to realize that that is when things started going seriously downhill. That is when I finally had the freedom to follow up on the refined food addiction and compulsive overeating, because now only I was in control
Uh-huh.
of when I was able to get my fix and
Yeah.
how often.
And did you feel that you did have control?
Mm, to be honest with you, Netta, I don't remember ever really thinking about whether I had control or not.
Yep.
It took years before it started clicking for me. Sweetheart, you are living a kind of life whereas food is your center. Food is your best friend. It took years,
Mm.
took many years before that actually started registering for me.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
Um, all I remember back in those days when I fresh out of high school and attending the university called Life,
Hmm.
um, all I remember is that I was living la vida loca. I was doing what I wanted. Finally, that's how I looked at it with
Uh-huh.
everything. I was doing what I wanted to do. Nobody
Right.
could tell me yes, no, whatever. And on top of that, I was a teenage mom.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, uh, it was just about, more so figuring out this thing called life while raising a child that I wasn't ready to raise
Right.
and, eating whatever I wanted. Now I understand being driven by cravings. But
Gotcha.
I didn't realize that back then. I
Well,
didn't even
no.
know that there was even a control to be had.
Gotcha. Yes, yeah, well said. And so, yes, it's often the case when we're teenagers. I mean, I have one myself, where whether it's good or bad, whatever our parents do, we want to do the opposite.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah,
Yeah.
um, I would say progression wise, to keep with, the story that I'm telling you. Um, I remember that, as I started getting older in my 20s, I tried all sorts of diets. I got to a point where I wasn't happy with my weight.
Hmm.
You know what society tells us.
Oh, yeah.
All the stories, right? Whether we are realizing that they're being told to us or we're not, they're still being told to us. I tried all different sorts of diets, all different sorts of fads, all different sorts. And it started to become clearer and clearer to me over the years that nothing was working, and that this was deeper than food.
Mm.
And
Mm.
so, gratefully, I I found Overeaters Anonymous.
Okay.
And when I found Overeaters Anonymous, um, that was the first time that I ever had heard that this wasn't my fault
Ah,
and that this was a dis-ease that I had been dealing with, and that there were all sorts of people all over this world who had been dealing with things like this as well.
yeah.
So I didn't actually wind up staying with Overeaters Anonymous long. The sponsor that I had just unfortunately already had way too much on their plate, but just a little bit of homework that they had given me was enough to help me understand a lot more of what I was dealing with, because they had me do just what you're having me do right now. They
Uh-huh.
had my timeline back.
Yeah.
When was the first time I remembered overeating?
And I would
Binge.
add, what were you overeating specifically?
Yeah, ultra processed food,
Hmm.
McDonald's. When I was trying to wrap my mind around the fact that this marriage that I had been told from birth was the epitome of making it as far as a woman is concerned. was done.
Uh-huh.
And so I was going to McDonald's and binging on multiple extra value meals at a time, trying to numb myself, trying to feed what I was not addressing,
Yeah.
which was sadness, disappointment, shame, you know?
I want to take a quick break to say that if this is your first time here, then welcome and thank you for listening to this podcast. And whether you're new or a regular and you haven't yet rated or reviewed this podcast, could I ask you to scroll down and tap on the stars to rate this podcast and also to write a short review to let me know how this podcast is helping you in your life after sugar. I love reading your reviews. And when you rate and review this podcast, not only does it encourage me to continue making new episodes, but it also helps to share this podcast and have more people see it so that we can help more people feel better and lose weight with less sugar. So again, thank you for rating and reviewing this podcast and for spreading the word about sugar. Yeah, and it was
And
feeding all those emotions as you were trying to get to numb from them, which,
mhm,
no shame because we all, I mean, I've been there
mm,
and I'm pretty sure most of my listeners have.
yeah, and as a lot of us know, they don't go anywhere.
Mm,
They don't go anywhere because food is not what um exposes to ourselves what's really going on.
yeah.
But once I started thinking about it in a term of dis-ease,
Hmm.
there was no turning back. That continued to sit with me. And then I remember that I got to a point where I was just like, all right, you know what? I'd been off of all sorts of meat anyway, outside of seafood for years. And then I think maybe like around 2014, something like that, I was just like, all right, no more seafood. I want to just completely just be eating, you know, more so vegetables, fruits, still processed.
Right.
But it's just been it's been a journey,
Yeah. Yeah, it
you
is.
know?
It is a
It's been a
journey.
journey.
And
Yeah.
so what made you think I want to stop meat first and then I want to stop seafood next?
Okay, so as far as meat is concerned, that was whew, my youngest daughter is 22 years old. So that was about 20 years ago,
Hmm.
give or take. Just about 20 years ago, maybe 19 years ago. She was dealing with croup. And there was a young man in my life at the time who didn't eat meat.
Okay.
And and it was a new relationship. And so while I was in the process of trying to figure out how could I improve my daughter's health, okay,
Hmm.
he was explaining to me meat is not positively contributing to your life. And if you want to stay with me, I know now manipulation, right? I wasn't thinking about it in those terms back then
Uh-huh.
because I was working on my worthiness to be in a relationship that didn't involve manipulation.
Right.
I'm grateful I know now, but back then I didn't. And
Yep.
so all I knew is I wanted to be with that man. And he
Mhm.
said, we're not going to be together if you eat meat. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think that my daughter needs this anyway. I think that we're not going to do meat.
Okay. Yeah.
And again, no shame. But to answer your question, that is where I started to come off meat.
Gotcha.
Okay. And brought my girls along with me. I'm proud mama of two young ladies who are now 29 and 22.
Wow.
And Yeah, so that's where that happened over 20 years ago with the cutting out the meat. And then continue to keep the seafood, like I said, until about 2014 is when I decided, you know what, I think I'm going to go ahead and cut that out too.
Hmm.
And then it was the beginning of 2017. So towards the end of 2016 is when I was feeling called more to cut dairy out for good.
Okay.
And so when I went to go and do that, making it a New Year's resolution type thing for the beginning of 2017, it happened to coincide with me supporting my youngest daughter as she was going through a Ghanaian rites of passage program. And so during that program, they had them slowly evolve into coming away from processed food to assist with the rites of passage.
Ah, right.
So none of it is by coincidence that it
Yeah.
all happened around that time that I decided, you know what, I think I want to cut dairy out. I'm going
Interesting.
to be supporting her. You see what I'm saying? Because I
Yeah.
already knew that eventually she was going to be cutting a lot of things out of her diet. And what I realized, Netta, is that as I got ready towards the end of 2016 to go off of dairy, it felt really difficult. And I decided I need to come up with something else to do in collaboration with this so that this doesn't feel so difficult.
Yeah.
And so, what I chose, and I'm ever grateful to this very day, I chose to see how long could I go with only eating food that I prepared myself from
Hmm.
scratch.
And that for you was like a big awakening or like a challenge or what?
Light bulb. It changed my life, Netta,
Huh.
because I had no idea what had been happening within my body and my brain. I had no idea what type of prison I had been in until I decided to do that.
Yeah.
Challenge myself with that. I only made it 11 days.
Of no
11 days
of just Whole Foods?
of of only fixing anything from scratch that I consumed. I only made it 11 days.
And then
And
what
I can
happened?
tell you, it definitely worked. I definitely wasn't thinking about dairy anymore. I didn't
Uh-huh.
care about the dairy. The only thing I cared about was, why do I keep thinking about these Lay's potato chips? Why can I not get them out of my mind? And so
Uh-huh.
on January the 11th of 2017, I finally went to 7-Eleven and got those Lay's potato chips. But here's the thing about me, and I'm grateful about this. I don't like being a prisoner to anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just couldn't get it out of my mind. Why? Why is it that I can't stop thinking? Why couldn't I stop thinking? I need to know. And so I started doing the research and I went down the rabbit hole. And that's when I started finding out about the pleasure trap. And I started finding out about the industry of manufactured food and how this is worldwide known by these industries and these scientists that they hire to find out the bliss point of these ultra
Mm-hmm.
processed foods.
Yep.
And I started finding out that if I abstained from salt, oil, butter, flour, alcohol, sugar, and I'm talking about adding those things,
Right.
my whole foods, if I didn't add those things to my whole foods, then I would be able to calm my brain, quiet it down, and finally start to understand what life could be like without cravings.
Yeah.
And so I experimented. I dropped 40 pounds in 4 months,
Whoa.
and I experienced a type of peace in my mind that I had never experienced before as an adult.
Wow.
And yeah, that was 2017.
Okay.
And I was able to, like I said, I was just experimenting. This wasn't about, because I didn't know this was going to happen.
Sure.
This wasn't about, oh, I'm making a stand in my life. This is what I'm going to do. No, it wasn't any of that. It was experimenting. It was trying to understand, why was I not able to go longer than 11 days?
Mm-hmm.
And it opened my world up. And then life got to lifing, because that's what life is always going to do.
Yep.
There's no such thing as perfection. Life is going to life, whether we wanted to or not. Okay.
Really? Yeah.
And I wound up getting away from it, but I never forgot the peace from the cravings. I never forgot it. And so I kept trying to get back to it, over about a 3-year period. And then at the end of 2019, I was like, I think I'm ready. And January the 6th of 2020, I started again. Difference, Netta, I brought the whole world along with me this time.
Yeah.
I posted about it regularly. And, I said, I'm going to sustainably learn how to eat sulfite free, whole food plant exclusive, salt, oil, flour, alcohol, sugar free, whole food plant exclusive. And I dropped 60 pounds in less than 8 months. And I got that freedom from those cravings back again.
Yeah. I can
And
believe you.
you know,
Yep.
and again, life is gonna life. So 3 years went by of me living like that. And then I relapsed. And of course, it's no such thing, I'm sure you know, Netta, as out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
It was building on itself. There were
Mm-hmm.
certain things that I wasn't paying attention to. Never mind the fact that I let ego get in there
Ah.
and tell me, girl, you've been doing this long. You can do a little bit of this. You can do
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of that.
Yeah.
You're going to be fine. You're going to get right back. And yeah, about the third time I did that, yeah, it took me 9 months to get back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that was
will
at the
do
beginning
that.
of 2023. That was at the
Uh-huh.
beginning of 2023. And you know what I realized? I realized that I wasn't prioritizing myself nearly as much as I thought I was.
Yep. Yep.
And I had to do some serious work. And I'm so grateful. And I continue to do it. What do I really want to do that doesn't have anything to do with what anybody else thinks I should be doing?
Mm.
What do I want for my life? What do I want? And as I went down that hole, I realized that I wasn't being as true to myself as I could be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I've been continuing to work on that. I'm grateful. October the 1st of 2023, 9 months basically later, I was able to get sober again and be in active sobriety, active recovery. And so October the 1st just now made 2 years
Yeah.
again. So this life after sugar thing that you're talking about, Netta,
Yeah.
beautiful. And
Mm.
it's work,
Mm.
and we're worth it. And
Yes.
I would say that that is the biggest thing that I have been learning on this journey. Am I worthy? Am I worthy of the kind of peace that means no cravings? I
Mm-hmm.
am. I am. And it takes work every day to remind myself that I'm worthy, because those thoughts from inside and outside try to tell me that I'm not worthy,
Mm.
but I am worthy. And that's what I want to tell your listeners. You are worthy to have a life free from cravings. You're worthy.
Yeah.
It is work, a lot of work, I do all sorts of journaling. I have all sorts of systems in place, and they can learn more about that on my website, in my ebooks, Let Go or Be Dragged, learning the healing art of letting go. Because there's a whole lot of letting go that we have to do. So
Very
we're
true.
not dragged anymore
Yeah.
because we get tired of being dragged
Yeah.
by
And we want to
sugar.
be in control, not in that control freaky type of way, but to feel that we're not powerless.
And to step into that power that you're talking about, it
Yeah.
takes work and it takes an honest belief in our worthiness to receive this kind of beautiful living that's free from cravings.
Mm.
You're right. It's some serious power.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have to work for it
But
every
you have
day.
to work for it. Exactly.
Mhm.
And it
Yep.
feels like sometimes women that I help are like, oh, I don't feel like doing all that work. Can you not give
I
me like
understand.
an easy way out?
I understand. I don't feel like it either, but I'm very clear. What's on the other side? What's on the other side? Death, as far as I'm concerned,
Hmm.
because it isn't happiness.
Hmm.
It's prison. It's prison. I don't want that anymore. The way that my life has opened up because of the way that I live now, because of the way that I eat now, the way that I stepped into my power, the way that I know how worthy I am. Oh my goodness. I had this long list of things, Netta, that I had wanted to do. And I didn't even realize, girl, you've been sitting on that list for forever.
Yeah.
And guess what? As soon as I stepped into my power and gave myself freedom from cravings, because you and I both know, Netta, as well as many people that are listening right now, these are choices, and they're choices that we make every second of every day. My life opened up. I had always wanted for a very long time to learn what did it feel like to drive a race car? Done. Fly a plane. Done. Sail a boat. Done. Write a book. Done and done. See the northern lights. Done. Marry myself
Hmm.
because I'm never giving up on myself again.
Yeah.
Done. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes.
Like, it's no limit. Retire from a hard struggle life and start slow traveling the world. Done. I'm a first time home buyer as of just a couple of months ago.
No,
And it's a
congrats.
van. And it's a van that I'm turning into my house.
Nice.
Done.
Yeah.
Things that I've wanted to do for a long time. And Netta, as I'm sure you know, just like your listeners, um, when our minds are free from craving, it opens our lives up. Because now we got room in there to think about all sorts of other things and do all sorts of other things.
Totally.
Because we're not thinking about what I'm going to eat. What am I in the mood to eat? What am I feeling like eating? We're not there.
Mhm.
We're not
It's
there.
true. Yeah, we've got plenty of energy for all the other things. And it doesn't mean
Mhm.
that we don't enjoy our food. It just means we're
Oh,
not
no.
obsessed by it.
Exactly. I have a book. Well, I already talked about Let Go or Be Dragged, Learning the Healing Art of Letting Go, that ebook. And that involves my self-care system. Um, on how to let go of things, people, places, environments, food, and so on and so forth that isn't positively contributing to our lives. The other book that I have is called Eating for My Life. Salt, oil, flour, alcohol, sugar-free, whole food, planet exclusive, a liberating journey. And
Ah,
in that book, ebook, all sorts of um, recipes, more importantly, my story and the freedom system that I have
yeah.
that helps us understand that freedom really does look good on us
Mm-hmm.
if only we can choose it. day after day, understand how worthy we are to choose it day after day after day, and understand that since this is not linear, right?
Mm-hmm.
That this thing called life, it's going to have its ups, it's going to have its downs.
Oh, yeah.
Understand that we're worthy of recovering from relapse as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. There's no shame in it.
No
There's
shame. And
no shame at
that is a
all.
powerful, powerful message that you have, Yvonne. And thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Netta. You are amazing. The work that you're doing is amazing. I
Thank,
really appreciate you, your work, your story. You're very inspirational.
thank,
Thank you so much, Netta. I
thank you,
appreciate
Yvonne.
you.
Me too. Thank you. Yvonne's story is such a reminder that this type of transformation isn't linear. It's a zigzag journey, and Yvonne has been through experiments, breakthroughs, relapse, and starting again. And what stayed with her was that she's worth that transformation. And I'm so grateful that she shared her journey so openly here. And if you're ready to embark on this journey as well, then this is exactly what you'll find in the Freedom from Cravings Formula program. Because I created this program specifically for women over 50 to help you go deeper into your relationship with food, especially sugar, and also into your relationship with yourself. And so that you can get guidance and support to help you stop emotional eating, break free from sugar cravings, slim down, and feel more in control around food. In the program, you'll get step-by-step guidance and customized support through the 5-step formula that I've developed so that you can live your life with more energy and fit into your favorite clothes effortlessly, feel confident in your food choices, and ditch the shame and embarrassment that you feel every time your emotions make you slip or fall off the wagon. And so that you never have to feel like you're on some kind of restrictive diet. If you're at this stage of your life when you're finally ready to look after yourself, let's chat. You can talk directly to me on a free clarity call at any time by going to aftersugarclub.com and clicking on Program at the top. You'll also find the link to talk with me with the show notes together with this episode. So go to aftersugarclub.com. Speak to you soon. That's it for this week. Keep in touch and see you soon for another episode.